first big counting day of 2023, which is going to be a huge election year. You mentioned Nagaland, Preeti. The fact is, Nagaland is among those states where we've seen serious charges being made of poll irregularities, of the kind of charges that were made in a previous pre-EVM era. Now you've got charges of people seizing booths and not allowing people to vote, proxy voting. These are the kind of charges that have been made in Nagaland, not for the first time. And I think that's the worry, right, that an election in Nagaland can be monopolized by the party in power using money power and in some instances muscle power, using local satraps in a way to, the local chieftains to capture an election, small constituencies again. But, I think of the three states, therefore, Nagaland is a bit of an outlier because you would almost predict that there is absolutely no way that the ruling NPF and NDPP BJP alliance will not win. That's the one state where you can almost predict what will happen. It's the other two states, I think, Tripura and Meghalaya, which will show lots of twists and turns this morning. So, and great to cover the Northeast. The tyranny of distance is being overcome.
You keep talking about the tyranny of distance, Rajdeep. The sheer fact that the BJP has done very well, and I was just going through some figures, it's really interesting because we talk about the Far East, but the BJP somewhere down the line, in terms of sheer leadership, has brought it closer. Why I say that? You talk about Nagaland, first time ever, a Home Minister actually stayed overnight in Nagaland, in India, has been when Amit Shah went to Nagaland, Rajdeep.
I have to say this, that the BJP has made a remarkable effort across these Northeast states in reaching out to parts of the country where they were non-existent 10 years ago.
Sheer figure,
take a look at what, India, take a look at these three states 10 years ago. BJP non-existent in Nagaland, BJP a 1.54% party in Tripura 2013, and BJP's best performance in Meghalaya has been 3 seats. So from there to become a contender in Meghalaya of sorts, to be able to achieve power in Tripura and be in alliance in Nagaland, 2 of them Christian-dominated states, is a huge
But when they say, Rajdeep, when the charge is that the growth of the BJP, like in Tripura, has been inorganic, dramatically taking over the vote share and the seat share where the Congress is concerned. All of that aside, but if you look at it, it hasn't been so inorganic because they've made a push where development is concerned. You've seen, just for example, the Prime Minister since 2014 has gone more to the Northeast. Let's just give you an example of Tripura. Then collective Prime Ministers in India till 2014. Now that says something.
It does. If tomorrow you were to list out the achievements of the Modi government, I think the outreach to the Northeast would be right there at the top. I think there's been a conscious effort. It's been organic and inorganic. Let's also be clear. What they've also done is broken parties, tied up with regional parties, made that first entry through the door and then broken the door open. Manipur is a great example of that. They virtually took over a number of Congress leaders like Birendra Singh, and then when they were in a position of power, they were able to win.
Do you see this time around, Rajdeep, that Tripura is going to be that acid test for the Bharatiya Janata Party practically?
I think it will be, Preeti, for one reason, that one of the challenges for any government is to ensure pro-incumbency. You see, you can win an election on anti-incumbency, but we are entering an era where possibly pro-incumbency is in the air, the ability to stay on in power for 5 years. 5 years ago, when the BJP won Tripura, we were all shocked and surprised because it was a huge jump. Now you expect the BJP to win. And if they win Tripura, it again shows that the BJP knows how to fight elections, unlike their opponents. The Congress has tied up with the left. I believe it's an unnatural alliance. The sense you got, will Congress voters transfer their votes to the BJP, to the left, is a question mark. And you've got a split in the opposition vote because of the emergence of someone like Pradyut Dev Burman, who's formed his own Tripura Mota party.
Not just split, but consolidation of
the tribal vote. So, you see, all of this could play out nationally. That let's say in a state like Karnataka, if the anti-BJP vote gets split tomorrow between the Congress and the JDS, if the BJP in this last stretch is able to convince the people of Karnataka to give it another 5 years. So I think these are all small. Tripura may be a relatively small state, but it also provides a teaser to what could lie ahead. The BJP much more organized when it comes to fighting elections.
What state and what are you watching most keenly?
What am I watching most keenly? You know, I was hoping for some nice Khasi food this morning. I was promised a Khasi breakfast. It's wonderful.
You already had the Khasi breakfast.
It is
what
wonderful.
Is the Khasi breakfast?
Well, a Khasi breakfast, you can get pork curry, you'll get early morning beef curry, you'll have lots of, they have their own version of, you know, I'm forgetting the name of it. It's like an appam that you have with it.
Right.
They give you the best fruit, fresh fruit in Meghalaya, and it is a wonderful part of the country. And I only hope that the politics were to match its natural beauty. For much too long, Meghalaya's politics is decided not on counting day, but what happens post-counting day, where anyone can tie up with anyone. And that is what makes Meghalaya fascinating.
But only two chief ministers have completed a full term in Meghalaya.
That's right. There's only been one occasion, 1972, when a government got a full majority. That was the first government. The UDP was the original regional party of Meghalaya. And I do believe whoever wins Meghalaya this time, the UDP will have to be part of the government. That's the party that dominates the Khasi Hills.
So you think the X factor in Meghalaya is UDP? But I'll tell you what I like about Meghalaya, Rajdeep, that, and you differ there. We've had that conversation before. It's a matrilineal society.
It's a matrilineal society where I've just heard that 45% of the homes are single women household homes. But so I know it's matrilineal, but there are, you know, issues that lie within. But the state that I will look at politically is Tripura. Because if for the left, not winning Tripura again, after having lost out in 28, it will be a huge setback. Will
it be the end of the Manik Sarkar era, if the left does terrible this time around?
I think the Manik Sarkar era is over. You've got a new leader, effective young leader, relatively young Jiten Chaudhary. He is a tribal, and he represents, I believe, the new generation of the left in Tripura. The left has a rock-solid vote of 35% plus, some would say 40% plus, as they got last time. But is that enough? We don't know. But, you know, the best thing about this, what you're doing today, is you're focusing on the Northeast. And that's wonderful, because these are all states that we need to know so much more about. I had never traveled to Tripura before this election. I had the best Ilish, and I can tell you the general belief is, and my mother-in-law will also, has now agreed to it, reluctantly, that you get better Ilish when it comes from the Padma from across the border in Bangladesh than you get from the Hooghly in Kolkata. So,
you talk about
that's a huge thing for a Bengali to admit, that Tripura gives you better fish, sweeter fish than you get in...
But Rajdeep, what is the difference? Okay, now let me ask you, because what's the difference between the Bangla population, like say in Tripura, or the Bangla population in Bengal? Primarily the fact that the TMC could not even get its foot edgeways where the Bengali population was concerned.
That's a fascinating issue and a great question, because, you know, I think Mamata Banerjee 20 years ago, when she formed the Trinamool Congress, soon after she did, the first state that she ventured into beyond Bengal was Tripura. In the belief that as a state with a 70% Bengali population, 68-70%, that was the state where the Trinamool Congress could naturally grow. And it never happened. Because Tripura's politics and every state's politics is different to the other. The Bengali who's come to Tripura, many of them migrated post-1947. You know, in 1952, Tripura had a 70% tribal population, 30% Bengali. That's been reversed. So, you know, coming into Tripura, Mamata Banerjee has found that the politics plays out very differently. And there what has happened is that people wanted rock-solid stability, I think, above all else. Tripura is an exception in the Northeast, except once, I think, 1989, Tripura has always given clear mandates.
True.
And therefore, that is an exception. And I think Mamata Banerjee has found it difficult to convince the people of Tripura that she is the one who can provide that kind of stable mandate.